In this video, we are going to learn about William Shakespeare, his works in general, and the play The Merchant of Venice. William Shakespeare was born on 26th April 1564 and died on 23rd April 1616. He was a playwright, poet, and actor. He was widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatist. He was called as England's national poet and the Bard of Avon. Bard means poet. Shakespeare wrote 39 plays, 154 sonnets, three long narrative poems titled Venus and Adonai, The Rape of Lucre, and A Lover's Complaint. What is a sonnet? A 14-line poem is called as a sonnet. Shakespeare wrote 39 plays and we are going to learn his play The Merchant of Venice. So before learning a play, we should be knowing what a play is. So what is a play? A play is a work of drama, usually consisting mostly of dialogues between characters, and it is intended for theatrical performance rather than just reading. So a play is meant to be enacted on stage. So whenever you learn a play, you always have to have this in mind. Okay, a play is meant to be enacted on stage rather than just reading. Shakespeare's plays are divided into four categories. We all know that he wrote 39 plays, and those 39 plays are divided into four categories as the comedies, the tragedies, the histories, and the romances. The comedies. Comedies have a happy ending. So if a play has a happy ending, it always comes under the category of comedy. The tragedies. All the tragedies have a hero who must overcome internal or external problems. Often, the protagonist has a tragic flaw that leads to his ultimate destruction. The central character or the main character or the hero of a work of art is called as the protagonist. And the opposite of the word protagonist is antagonist. Antagonist means villain. The histories. Shakespeare spends a lot of time discussing what makes a good, wise, and successful ruler in his history plays. The romances. Shakespeare's late comedies are called as romances. These plays at times seem more like tragedies than comedies, but they have the standard happy ending. So, The Merchant of Venice comes under the category of comedy because it has a happy ending. It comes under the category of romance because they are more like tragedies than comedies, and for a romantic play the setting also plays a very important role and they have a standard happy ending. And The Merchant of Venice can also be called as a tragicomedy. Tragicomedy is a subgenre, and the tragicomedy consists of tragic as well as comic elements in it. And at last, especially in the play, we find Shylock being punished, which is a tragedy for him. Okay, so we can say that A Merchant of Venice is a romantic play or a tragic comedy also. Shakespearean actors, stage and techniques. Women's role were played by young men or boys. So during the time of Shakespeare, women were not allowed to act. So the role of women were played by young men or boys. Soliloquy. When a character talks aloud the inner thoughts, it is called as soliloquy. The next one is aside. Often in the text, you'll find aside being written within brackets. What is the meaning of that? Aside means the character addresses the audience, whereas the other actors on stage or the other characters on stage don't understand or don't listen to what he says. The next one is mask. Mask is an allegorical story about an event or person involving singing, acting, and dancing. And Shakespearean stage had curtains. So they used different backdrops to show different places. The Merchant of Venice. The Merchant of Venice was written by Shakespeare in 1605 and it comes under the genre romantic comedy. You know what a romantic play is and you know what a comedy is, so it can be called as a romantic comedy. About the title of the play. The titles of Shakespearean plays were named after the characters. The tragedies were named after a powerful character and the comedies after a weak one. In The Merchant of Venice, a romantic comedy, Antonio is a weak and passive character. So the play is named after Antonio, who is a merchant of Venice. Okay, and Antonio is a weak and passive character. That's why this play is named after him. See, The Merchant of Venice is a comedy. It is a romantic comedy. That's why it is named after a weak character. Okay, thus the play has been aptly named after him. About the setting of the play. The action in the play takes place in Venice or in Belmont. Belmont is entirely a creation of Shakespeare's imagination. You have to keep in mind. Venice is a real place, it is existing now also, but Belmont is entirely a creation of Shakespeare's imagination. Now, coming to the characters present in this play. Portia. Portia is an heiress of Belmont. Who is called as an heiress? A woman who is legally entitled to a property or rank on a person's death is called as an heiress. So Portia is an heiress of Belmont. Nerissa is her waiting gentleman. Balthasar and Stefano are the servants to Portia. Prince of Morocco and Prince of Aragon are the suitors to Portia. Antonio is a merchant of Venice. Bassanio is a Venetian gentleman and he is also a suitor to Portia. Solanio, Salarino, Graciano, Lorenzo, and Leonardo are companions of Antonio and Bassanio. Leonardo is a servant to Bassanio. He is not a friend, he is a servant. Okay. Shylock is a Jewish moneylender in Venice. Jessica is Shylock's daughter. Tubal is another Jewish moneylender. Lancelot Garbo is a servant to Shylock and later he becomes the servant to Bassanio. Old Garbo is Lancelot Garbo's father. Salerio, a messenger from Venice. And we have Jailer, Duke of Venice, Magnificos of Venice, servants, attendants and followers, messengers and musicians in this play. So the most important characters of this play are given first. They are Portia, Prince of Morocco, Aragon, Antonio, Bassanio, his friends, Shylock. Shylock is the antagonist of this play, and Jessica, Tubal, Lancelot, Gobbo, Old Gobbo, and Balthasar, everybody play their own part in this play. So, students, I request all of you to listen to this audio and see this video once again so that you'll get an understanding about what's Shakespeare, his works, and about the Merchant of Venice. And in the next class, we shall start learning the play, and before that, you should be thorough with all the characters. So please learn the characters given on the screen, okay, so that it will be easy for you to understand what I teach in the next class. Thank you, students.